What's up everybody, NBZ here, back with another battle for ya. This one is against Stevo, and yeah, we got a game here against Stevey350z, a very cool Scottish man from the mountain high who eats haggis, plays the pipes and such other typical activities, and if you do not subscribe to him, I will have to murder you brutally with a knife. So, this is a rotation roulette we had, and this was kind of the point at which I realised how much prediction was involved in this metagame and how much more you have to just do stuff in prediction. So I get my grossing lead off, which is my freaking ground ghost type, and I go for the Stone Edge, which is not gonna do too much to his Shuckle, which is actually my Shuckle because all his guys are mine because I gave him them all, and the Stone Edge doesn't do much. But I'm gonna predict the switch, and I'm gonna rotate out to Absol to go for a Will-O-Wisp, but he actually just misses, which kind of sucks hugely, seeing as a Will-O-Wisp on Aerofoon would be extremely useful, but in this situation I cannot do it, which is a pain. So I'm thinking here that he's probably going to rotate to Garchomp or something, and I'm not really sure what to do, so I decide to rotate to my Bruzzer here and set up a substitute in case he wanted to go to Garchomp and go for an Earthquake. But he doesn't, he goes to Espeon and sets up Reflect. Now here I'm pretty much fine with staying in. I have a lot of moves which can take on Espeon, but not really because I can just stall him out. Now I don't want to go for the Toxic because Magic Mirror will bounce it back at me, so I'm kind of thinking, what could I do here to help me out against Espeon? I could Protect to see if he switches to something and tries to do something, or I could switch out because, not switching out, I could rotate because it would keep the sub anyway. So I'm going to rotate to Gross and go for a Stone Edge, but Stone Edge misses unfortunately, and that would have been quite useful to get that hit in on his Espeon to, you know, wear it down a bit more, but doesn't kind of happen. And I'm really not afraid of too much. I mean, he could rotate into either of his guys and potentially threaten me because he can outspeed me with both of them, or he can outspeed me with pretty much all of them. So it's kind of a process of whether he wants to go to something to annoy me with Aerofoon or wants to go to something to kill me with Garchomp. But I'm going to rotate onto Absol and go for a Sucker Punch, predicting him to stay in and Psychic with Espeon, but he doesn't because he goes to Aerofoon and actually Toxics my Absol, which is a bit of a pain. Nothing too huge, but it is, you know, it's going to hurt me in the long run and such. Now he's going to go to Chomp as I switch back to this guy, and he's going to get up a free Swords Dance, which is not good whatsoever because if he rotates out on that, it's going to be pretty painful for me. I actually predicted him to stay in with Aerofoon and go for a sub, which is why I went to my Ghost guy to try and Stone Edge it away, and here I decide to go to Absol, predicting him to switch out with his Swords Dance, but he doesn't rotate out with his Swords Dance, and Absol bites the dust to an Earthquake. I was kind of hoping he was going to go to Espeon to Psychic my Ghost, so I went to Absol in order to kind of sponge that Psychic as it was, because I'm Dark type, but didn't quite work out in that way well. So kind of looking at what I have here, and I have a Slowbro which can take hits from Garchomp relatively well, so I'm kind of thinking that's the way to go. I go for the Psychic here, I believe, but he just goes straight to Espeon and sets up a Light Screen, which means Psychic is going to do absolutely nothing. So yeah, I'm not really predicting around him very well here, and it's not looking too great really. He has a Garchomp with a Swords Dance still. I do have my Bird guy with the sub, which is always useful to have, but you know, it's not going to be that huge in any case. Now this guy is choiced, so I decide to go into him thinking that he's gonna go to Aerofoon or something, but he predicts me very, very nicely. Goes for the Grass Knot. Grass Knot would have done a lot to Slowbro anyway, but he said that he did predict the switch to that guy. So I go into Nicolas because it's Nicolas the Kirikazan, and Nicolas is spelt with 2 E's and not an I and a C because I like spelling it that way, and so does he. And I'm gonna rhyme a lot as well. So I believe this is my Swords Dance set, and I kind of don't want him to be hurt by anything bad, so I'm going to go to my Bruzzer and go for the Toxic, predicting him to rotate out, which does happen because if I'd Toxic'd his Espeon, that would not have been good because it would have just bounced back at me and been pretty terrible. I actually had a sub up. I'm not sure if that would have Maybe it wouldn't have worked in that way then, I don't really know. But in any case, I'm going to rotate back out to Kiryu-Kazan, and he actually goes for the Fire Fang, which fucks me over royally. I was hoping he was going to go back to Espeon, predicting my Bruzia to, I don't know, sub up again or something. I don't have a clue. But anyway, I'm going to go to my Zedebra, because it's a Zedebra and it has electricness. And I think that I go for the Nitro Charge, or do I? I think I rotate out, actually, because I predict he's going to... I go to Zedebra, predict he's going to stay in an Earthquake, and rotate to my Bruzia. And I do rotate to Bruzia and go for the Substitute as he Grass Knots me, which isn't going to do anything. So yeah, I was just, hoping he would stay in an Earthquake, but Grass Knot isn't going to hurt me anyway, which is fine, and I get a free sub off. Now I can rotate out and keep that sub, or I can just stay in and protect stall him. In any case, I know that Bruzia is going to be useful later on, so I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to predict the Psychic to try and break my sub, and I'm going to switch. I'm going to rotate into Slowbro and just get a Boiling Water off, even though he does still have Light Screen up. It's hopefully going to get a burn, but it doesn't, which is unfortunate. And now he's going to go to Aerofoon to Toxic me. I just stay in and go for the Boiling Water, or I go for the Psychic. So I go for the Psychic just to predict a switch, I guess, probably. Because he was thinking I was going to Boiling Water again, but I just went for the Psychic, and obviously because Light Screen is not going to do anything. So yeah, things are looking pretty terrible for me here. I think these are my last 3 guys, and he still hasn't lost any of his first 3. So I predict the Earthquake, go to Bruzia, and I set up a Roost, which is absolutely amazing. That was just beautiful right there, the fact that I predicted him to go to Chomp and Earthquake my Slowbro, and I just get a free switch in and get my health right back up to full. So this bird, Turkey, looks like it's going to be causing his team a lot of trouble. Whole deal of death. So he's going to Swords Dance again, so now he has a +4 or something, I believe. I'm going to sub again, just because I know that I can sub-stall him and sub-roost and protect him out of everything in every way. So I'm staying in here, and I'm going to go for a second sub, which is going to help me out because he's going to eventually go down to Toxic in the long run. And I think he does go down this turn or next turn. Obviously, probably next turn. I can't remember. He may switch out here, just wanting to save Garchomp. He does just switch out, and I protect as he goes to Espeon, which is going to Psychic and not going to do anything because I protected. Now, I don't want to go for the Toxic again, so I'm going to either have to rotate out or set up a Roost of some kind. I'm not sure if he's going to predict Slowbro and go for Grass Knot, or predict the Zebra and go for Psychic, so it's kind of, I'm not sure which one to go to here. I might stay in. I don't quite remember. It's just his rotation roulette's kind of hard to narrate because there's loads of stuff going on, and it really is kind of hard to get your brain in gear. So apparently I go for another sub, predicting him to break it with Psychic, I believe. But now Toxic is going to take him out because it has built up, and because he rotates with Toxic, it stays, building up basically, as well as his Swords Dance boost staying. But that is the first of his guys I've managed to take out here, which is kind of I don't know, it's kind of crazy that it's taken this freaking long for this entire thing to go on, and me only take out one of his guys, whereas I'm sitting here with 3 guys, which is just like, ugh, freaking face palm in my face. So he's gonna go to Sazendora, which is choice banded because it's my one and it's choice banded. And the funny thing about this is that if he doesn't switch it out, he's going to be locked into a move for the rest of the match. So he's going to go for the Crunch, and he didn't realize that it wasn't very effective on my guy. And then Toxic misses again just to spite me because that's how cool it is. And it's really not looking good here because I don't want to go for another Toxic, as I believe he's going to go to Espeon to try and bounce it back. So I go for the Protect on that turn, just predicting him to go to Espeon to sponge it. But now I'm not really sure what I want to go to. I'm thinking Slowbro is kind of useless, so I'm going to go to him and hopefully take a Psychic and maybe get a Boiling Water off. And I get a Thunder Wave off, which actually is kind of retarded because I am already poisoned, so even though Magic Mirror bounces it back, it doesn't make a difference. So that was the most useless, pointless thing in the world. But I kind of keep that Thunder Wave in mind and bouncing it back and such, as you'll see in a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to stay in here. He's going to take me out with the Crunch, I believe, with Sazendora, which is fine. Choice Band Crunch is easily going to be a KO. I believe I only have these two guys left, the freaking zebra and the turkey man, and it's really looking pretty bad for me. Like, I think he has 5 guys still left, so yeah, this is not looking good whatsoever. So I know he's locked into crunch because he's Sazandora and he has to do that. So I'm going to rotate here and I'm going to go to my zebra and go for a thunder wave, hoping that he stays in with Sazandora, but I use a thunder wave, it hits Espeon, Espeon bounces back my thunder wave with magic mirror, and because I have motor drive, it boosts my speed. That has to be one of the most epic things in existence that has ever happened in a game. I think it's second only to the Lumberry thing with Ferris, which I'll leave the link to the description if you haven't seen that battle, but that was the most epic thing in existence. Seconded this second to that, basically. Basically that was just incredible, you know, thunder wave bouncing its way back into my face, which was just kind of weird. And he has a freaking Eevee because he's freaking Stevo and weird and stuff. So 2 wild bolts is going to take out Espeon, followed by Eevee, going to get a crit, which is useless, and I'm going to die with my zebra. So now he has Nubs, Sazandora and Arafune left, and really, if we're talking, you know, critical terms here, he doesn't really have anything to touch me with. I'm going to be honest. The only way he can kind of get me is if he statuses me with Arafune after he's taken out the sub, which is going to be pretty difficult to do. So I mean, he's kind of in a pretty poor situation here in essence. So basically what we're going to have to do is speed this up, because it's just going to be kind of pointless otherwise. It's just basically me using Protect and stuff, and trying to reset up subs and using Toxic and stuff. I'm just going to Toxic the Sazandora, I'm going to get up another sub and stuff, and it's just going to be stalling really. There isn't much else I can do apart from stall him out. I'm going to Protect here as he goes to Nubs, try and knock off my lefties, and here I was supposed to set up a sub, but instead I misclick and go for Toxic, and after that we were both like, fuck it, this is going to take far too long, let's call it a draw, because he knew I would have won if I'd hit Substitute there, but apparently I didn't hit the Substitute, I hit Toxic as a misclick, and we decided to say let's leave it at a draw at 3-1, and you know, we'll both go on and live our lives and things will be happyful. Anyway, I guess that's all I'm going to say for this time. Kind of a long-winded game, and just kind of the predictions on this are really just mind-boggling really. They're kind of difficult to comprehend because rotation is one of those beasts which you know, takes a lot of thought process. I really like it actually. Rotation does require a hell of a lot more prediction than the standard metagame, so it's a good testing ground if you want to test out how good your prediction is and how good you are at, you know, reading your opponent. But I guess that's all I'm going to say for this time. Make sure to check out all the links in the description. They will all be plentiful and good. Definitely go to Stevo's channel and sub him, because he is the sexiest guy on Scotland land, and that is how we roll, because we live there. So I guess comment or sub. I will see all you guys later, and this is me saying goodbye.